welcome back to our 10th episode.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
10?
I know. 10 episodes. I've made it that
10.
long.
I love it.
It's low budget.
Being in the room, I can guarantee you it is 100% low budget.
Just see, my guest is already, we haven't introduced her and she's already taking shots at my low budgetness. Just wait till the cart goes by halfway through the interview. We have the lovely Tiffany Galvan.
Yes.
What is Galvan? What name is that? Where does that come from?
That's a very valid question. I don't even really know. I know part of it is Spanish. Some of it is Portuguese. But oh man, getting there already, man.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
my grandfather left his family when he was really young. And so a lot of my grandfather's side of the family, I actually don't know them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of part of my family that I just don't know. And yes, I'm sure I could go into the whole
We may.
The what?
We may.
Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say the records and actually look through the line and everything. But I actually don't know a lot of my grandparents' families. My grandfather passed away when I was in second grade. My grandmother only spoke Spanish. And my
So it's got some Hispanic.
Indigenous Spanish, all that jazz.
All that fun stuff.
And because a lot of our history was erased, there's just a lot that I don't know.
So before we get into all that, because we do want to get into your family life, but what? Because you told me your title when you walked in here, and I'm going to let you actually just give me your career arc to where you are today.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Like quickly, but I want to know where you're at in life.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now, and how did you get there?
Yeah. So I always say that I've been in and around the nonprofit industry the last 16 years.
Wow.
I really got into the nonprofit world because my junior year of college, I had an internship at the Family Violence Prevention Services, and I was helping with their volunteer coordination. And when I was taking a tour of the Battered Women Children's Shelter, there was a little girl who, blonde hair, blue eyes, couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 years old, and she was waving, smiling at me, and I pick her up, and I sang her to sleep. And everybody just looked at me gobsmacked. And I didn't realize that she had actually witnessed her mother's abuse.
Oh, wow.
Her mom was still in the hospital, and she didn't have the voice.
Yeah.
She didn't have a voice to advocate for herself. She didn't have anything. And so I've made it a mission to really help others tell their stories and to help nonprofits tell their stories so that we can do good in the world. I've learned early on that I was great at storytelling. And so if I can help others tell their story so that it can help the community, then that's what I do. And so at the heart of what I do as a nonprofit consultant and helping with fundraising, helping with strategy, really an executive coach for people, not just nonprofit leaders, but also small business owners and people who have a big dream to help people.
Sure.
That's at the heart of what I do, is helping people tell their story so that we can create greater good.
Yeah, I mean, a small business, I always tell people a small business is basically, it's for profit, obviously. That's the end goal, but it's run a lot like a nonprofit.
Right, and vice versa, to be quite honest.
Yeah. So how did you get there? I mean, so you started, you said you're very young. Did you work for some nonprofits as well?
Yes, so I worked for nonprofits. I actually started I did Family Violence Prevention Services, and then I was in AmeriCorps. So I was at San Antonio Youth Centers before I became SA Youth. I was at Big Brothers Big Sisters. And what I learned, again, early on was the fact that there wasn't a lot of mentorship, especially for women of color or even people of color, because the system wasn't set up that way in order to help us understand how fundraising worked and how to fundraise sustainably. And it's interesting because one of my early bosses, we now work very closely together in a lot of capacities. And we've had this great conversation almost healing conversation where she was saying that she didn't even have support. And that's really what I've noticed throughout my career, is that so many people, especially leaders, nonprofit leaders, are operating in survival mode and operating under trauma. And because they are operating from that space of survival mode and trauma, it's going to be a constant fight against the current.
Yeah.
And we're never going to be able to have the true impact that we would like to have because people are constantly operating under survival and trauma. And I mean, I know you and I see this all the time, and even the people that we interact with, is that the reason why people maintain surface level relationships is because it's protecting themselves and their own hearts and who they truly are. But if we don't break out of those moments, right, if we don't break out of that survival mechanism, we're going to constantly be trying to keep our heads above water, and we're never going to actually create the impact that we want to make.
So when you nonprofits, I've been in that world. We work with nonprofits quite a bit in the industry that I work in, but I find that a lot of times you brought up something, going and getting money, raising money is what is the goal a lot of the times, but then you can't work on the nonprofit or the big vision.
Right.
And I think it's hard to do both. And so how do you help in that realm? Because you've got to separate the two. It's two different things. It's two different modes of thinking for sure.
See, so for me, I think it's one way of thinking because, and the reason why is because your mission should drive funding. And so when you lose sight of your mission and you're constantly working towards mission creeping, which is just going after any single grant and any single dollar to sustain yourself, then that's when nonprofits come up with random programs, random projects. That's when there's burnout from their employees and their staff. That's when people are very spread thin. And if you would just focus on the heart of the mission and focus on what the impact is supposed to be for your mission, then that should drive the right funders, the right volunteers, the right opportunities to ensure that you're aligning in the best way that's not going to create burnout for you or your team.
So what do you see in San Antonio? Because you're on the ground floor of probably looking at poverty, all kinds of different things that are going on in this community. What is the biggest thing? I mean, I guess you could split this into two things. You can answer it either way. What do you see the biggest issue with nonprofits here in San Antonio? It could be even larger than San Antonio, but also like just in general, what do you see the biggest issues in San Antonio that we need to solve on that ground level, that base level?
I'll stick with the issues and that part first, and then I'll go to the second part. So I'm also an admin for the Buy Nothing group in San Antonio. So not only do I have the intersectionality of working with city employees, working with people in the city and elected officials, working with nonprofit professionals and executives, but then also, like you said, being on the ground in the community because I care. So as part of the Buy Nothing group in San Antonio, every single day, I see people posting, at least 5 to 10 individuals posting, saying that they can't feed their families, saying that they just need a couple, things of ramen or food just to get to the next paycheck. And this is very well documented in all of the data and all of the consultants that have been paid for San Antonio of looking at food insecurity and looking at access and affordable housing crisis and the fact that people we have a working poor.
Yeah. Has that gotten worse?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with everything going on in the government, right, like that's always going to impact different things. But San Antonio specifically has the term is that it is some of the jobs. I don't remember the term at the moment. I will come back to it in my brain, I'm sure. But basically, some of the jobs, like people are not qualified for those like high paying jobs, and so We have people who are working really hard, but they are underpaid, and the cost of living keeps rising.
Going up, yes.
Inflation keeps rising.
Sure.
Tariffs are impacting a lot. And so we have people, and this is not something that is new, and
Sure.
it's not something that's happened specifically just because since the pandemic. Like, this is something that has been generational in San Antonio. We are one of the most economically segregated cities in America.
Yeah.
We have in the east side, 2 zip codes in the east side still have the highest maternal mortality rates in the nation.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Our high school reading, or the reading level for kids entering high school, is still almost at a 3rd grade level. They're closing schools because there's not a lot of people trying to get into those schools because
Sure.
of like low turnout rates. But then also, like, if we're not creating access, then that is going to make an impact too. Transportation is always going to be important for any thriving community.
Sure.
And VIA works really, really hard to make things accessible as best as possible. But when you have funders who are maintaining a bottom line as well, because they are also running a business and they want to ensure important impact, that means that they're only going to work with nonprofits that are established. And that doesn't always mean the smaller nonprofits that maybe have the greater impact, who are boots on the ground. Because what I've seen too, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but whatever.
Oh, please. Oh, now we're getting good. Yes. I'm leaning into the mic now.
Is that there's a lot of there are really great executives in San Antonio for nonprofit space, but there are also a lot of executives that are so far removed from the community that they don't even remember what the community needs.
Sure. No, that makes sense. I think that we also, like you're saying, the economic bubbles in this city, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you go to different parts of town and it's just completely different. I mean, it is insanely different. What do you think causes that? I mean, just how San Antonio was built?
Part of it is how San Antonio was built. So if we look at the east side as an example, right, and actually now segregation is determined by highways.
Oh,
so
wow.
it used to be like the train tracks, right?
Yeah.
And now it's the highways. And so if you look at San Antonio, and we go back to even Hemisphere. And the reason why Hemisphere is called Yanaguana is because Yanaguana is the original. It means place of clear water.
Oh, really? It ain't clear anymore.
Actually, you know what's really interesting? I was actually on a boat tour, and the tour guide
What boat tour? Down the river?
Down the river, yeah. And the guy.
I thought you meant like a yacht.
No. I'm not rich like that. The guy actually poured out his water and put it into the San Antonio River, and it was clear water.
No way.
It was clear water.
What day was this? After it just rained?
No.
I should not knock the river water now.
Well, see, the thing
I wouldn't
is,
drink
though,
it.
I mean, I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying what it can be and what the original name of this land is, right? And really, the Hemisphere, it used to be Hemisphere, and then the east side used to have super thriving Black and brown communities. And when Hemisphere happened, it displaced all of those families.
Gentrification, basically.
Gentrification, but more so erasure.
Yeah.
It we need to be very clear in our language, because gentrification is one thing, but the effects of gentrification is displacement and erasure.
Okay.
Because gentrification is we want economic development, we want economic growth, and we want economic opportunities for everybody, right?
Sure.
But how you do it is important, and how you include people is super important. So when the Hemisphere happened, and actually there are documented eviction notices that used to be at the Institute of Texan Cultures, RIP, even though it's at the bottom of Frostbank Tower now.
It's going to be a stadium.
It's going to be a stadium.
Yeah.
And so there's actually documented history of these eviction notices to Black and brown families. And so even the east side had all of this displacement and erasure as well. And so it's been a reclamation and coming back. And I am very proud of San Antonio that despite our issues, I do feel like there are so many more people on the ground who are doing the work to ensure that people are not erased and that our stories are told and that the work is still being done to create access for people. So as much as we have to work on, I am heartened that there are so many other people doing the work to make sure that the bad stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I think it's important that gets out there too. I mean, it's very important what you're doing. And I think, I know you've spoken to some things that I've been in. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I want to go we kind of go all over the place here, but growing up, what was your childhood like? Did you grow up here in San Antonio? What was that like? I mean, you were from San Antonio?
Yeah, born and raised. So childhood at home that my parents still live in. I'm very privileged. I grew up over in the Deco district, and Catholic school trajectory my whole career, life, all the things. So St. Paul's, Antonian, St. Mary's. Did
you ever get the ruler?
No, but a classmate of mine did.
Oh.
A classmate of mine did. And then a couple years later, they stopped doing that. Yeah.
You're in that age group, right?
I just missed it.
Yeah, you just missed the ruler. I got the ruler.
But I do remember though, like I may or may not have learned cursive from a very young age.
Yeah.
I was 5 or 6 and I already knew how to write in cursive.
Yeah.
And I forgot to get my spelling test signed by my parents. And so I wrote my mom's name in cursive. And then I felt so terrible that I told the teacher on myself.
Yeah.
Because
you told the teacher on yourself.
I did. And she was so angry and disappointed. and I was traumatized.
Well, you see, you're a better person than I. Although I was you know me, I was a sweetheart. Growing up, she always spit her water out when I said that. I was a complete angel. I mean, look at me.
What happens?
What happens? I'm still a teddy bear.
You are.
Not really, but
no, you genuinely care about.
So you grew up in that Catholic school background. Where did you go to high school? Was there anything growing up? You gave one little thing in the beginning of this, but when you were growing up, did you ever go, I'm going to be a nonprofit consultant or I'm going to be a nonprofit?
No, not at all.
I mean, was it that story you just told that it clicked? That's when you wanted to do this?
Part of that, yeah. And so a couple things, right? So something that I've learned, so I'm also on the board, I'm the vice president on the board for a national nonprofit. It's called American Society for the Positive Care of Children. I've been on the board for the last 6 years. I'm going on 7. And it talks a lot about trauma with parents and really creating the tools and resources so that parents learn more about their own traumas so that they don't fuck up their children.
Yeah.
And what I've learned, especially in that journey, it's taught me a lot about my own upbringing, about how my parents have worked hard their entire lives, sacrificed everything for my brother and I in order to go to Catholic school the entire time.
Sure.
My mom is the baby of 8.
Wow. That's crazy. Family functions must be insane.
Well, they're all dead.
Oh, well, bring the mood down.
I mean, you asked.
They're all dead?
I mean,
all 8?
Well,
or 7? Really?
6, actually. It's 6 of them, and then it's just my aunt and my mom that are the last 2.
Yeah.
My mom's parents passed away when she was 33. I'm 30. Yeah. I'm 39.
Yeah.
6 months of each other. Most of my mom's siblings passed away from cancer.
Wow.
So they weren't old. They weren't old at all. They were quite young. And different ailments. My dad is the oldest of 5.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was working farming and doing agriculture in Hondo, Texas as he was lighter, but he's still a brown man in Hondo, Texas.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to clean the church. You know what I mean? So all these hardworking stories, right? And all these sacrifices that have kind of been instilled. And so what I've learned a lot, especially in learning about trauma, is that, parents do the best that they can, or at least most parents, you hope, do
Sure.
the best that they can. My parents did with what they were given and what they
Yeah.
knew at the time, right? And so a lot of the things that I grew up with, I look back and I look back with kindness
Yeah.
and grace, because I didn't realize how much my parents' fear of anything happening to my brother and I impacted parts of how I grew up and how I navigated a lot of my own emotions and growing up. And so, for example, like I was 5 years old at the old YMCA, which is now a church, downtown. And I was the very first person to jump off the diving board.
Wow.
Completely fearless. I would
I still won't do that.
I would jump off of trees. I would climb trees. We would go hiking and we would climb rocks. And I remember one time I got stuck and my dad said, my dad said, Tiffy, let go. He said, Tiffany, let go. And I did, like just off of the rock, and I just let go.
I can envision you stuck on a rock.
Yeah, and
So you're fearless. Is basically.
I was fearless,
Yeah.
but then somehow along the way, when I was growing up, I was convinced, like for the longest time up until college, I was convinced that I didn't know how to swim.
Yeah.
Because the fear that was instilled in me because they were protecting me.
Yeah.
You know, that
sheltered. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just shelter. Like shelter is one thing, right? Of like not allowing people to grow, but it was more of my parents had lost so much that they didn't want to lose one more thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
that makes sense.
And so I actually paid for extra swimming lessons. Like I like really pushed myself out of all these other things because I knew that I didn't want to be stuck in fear.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't want to be stuck in I didn't want to be stuck in my own way, because if I was stuck in my own way, then I couldn't help people and I couldn't actually be an advocate and I couldn't stand up for things that mattered to me.
Yeah. Well, and if the river barge went down, you're now able to swim.
But I mean, if the river barge goes down, just stand up.
That's true. In the clear,
in the clear,
crisp water.
It's a lot of algae on the bottom, guys.
So were your parents, are they from here too or no?
My mom is from here.
Okay.
My dad was so my grandfather American, my grandmother Mexican citizen, ended up getting legalized.
Okay,
and,
so that's when they came over from Mexico at that point.
Well, my grandfather is American, and then my dad moved to Hondo, Texas when he was 3 years old.
Okay, and so now where you're at now, you're married. Mm-hmm. Explain that. How's that going?
Explain marriage.
Yeah, explain marriage to me. Explain marriage to somebody. How'd you meet your husband? All that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I always tell the story that Em and I met responsibly drunk at Pat O'Brien's.
Responsibly
drunk at Pat O'Brien's. Is
Pat O'Brien still here? I thought it closed.
It just closed last year.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah.
So we met in 2010. And we've like gone on this journey of life, like, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, the beautiful. I mean, marriage is really just finding another person, and you may have brokenness together and you're figuring it out together, and you're figuring out life together, and life can be hard sometimes. And so it's good to have someone who centers you and grounds you and reminds you of your worth, reminds you of your light, and reminds you of, you know, what your purpose is. And that's not always the responsibility of the other person, right? It's your responsibility to be good for yourself too, and to take care of yourself and take care of your own mental health so that you can be a partner to someone else.
Sure.
But it is nice to still have someone there who you can rely on.
Yeah. So how long have y'all been married?
We've been married for 9 years.
She forgot.
9
She
years.
forgot.
No. I say
I saw you. Are you sure it's 9? Is that your final answer?
pretty sure it's 9 years. Yeah.
It's been so nice. You've forgotten how long it is.
Well, see, because it's so much easier to say 2010 to now because that's
Yeah.
16 years
Yeah.
of being together.
Yeah.
But then the whole like wedding part of it is like, wait, okay. And I know the date of when we got married.
Yeah.
We got married October 29th.
Okay.
So it was Halloween.
Yeah.
We
Makes sense.
Right?
For you.
It does. It 100% does. Well, and it was funny because I saw this like super kitschy flyer that's like ghouls and goblins get married by the cemetery at Black Swan Inn.
This is such a Tiffany story.
And I was joking with M. Like I was joking and I was like, oh haha, wouldn't it be funny if, right? And we're driving to Main Street Pizza, which fucking delicious, by the way. Like it's always
Sponsor us.
right. I like their chicken parmesan. But yeah, we were driving to Main Street Pizza, and I was joking. And then he looks up the Black Swan Inn, which I had always heard that the Black Swan Inn was haunted. Never wanted to go there because it was haunted. And then he looks it up and he's like, oh shit. He's like, have you seen what this place looks like?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And he's like, this place is gorgeous. He's like, it's how much? I'm like, oh, it's like $200.
Which is nothing.
Yeah. And he's like, and it includes everything. And I go, yeah, it includes like the ceremony. It includes like we're part of the party. It's a masquerade ball.
Did you have to dress up?
Well, I mean, we dressed like we had an actual beautiful wedding. Like here's the thing,
Oh, you
though.
didn't dress up like in a costume.
No.
that
I
would've been
had
cool.
a beautiful like I did get married in a black dress.
Yeah.
I got married in a black dress.
There we go.
He was married in a tux. My dress was gorgeous, by the way. I can show you a photo.
We'll put pictures up for your show. We'll make sure you send that to me.
I 100% will. And he's like, no, literally, like, look at this place. And I was like, okay. And then when I saw it, it was just this gorgeous, home, location venue for a wedding. And then I called the lady. Her name is Jo that owns the house. And no one else signed up. Like no one else.
There's a reason.
Well, no, it actually was really cool. So what happened was
nobody signed up.
Yeah, nobody. So it was.
It's $200. They're probably like, what's going on in this place?
Well, see, but here's what happened is that they did everything for us. So it was genuinely a beautiful.
There's no way
wedding.
it was $200.
So. With
They
the
scammed
cost, you? No. It was $200. But then what happened was we had 40 people there. So
40 people.
Yeah, 40. And my parents invited everybody, and
okay.
it was a thing. Yeah. But like from the wedding dress, tax, rental car, like everything, all inclusive wedding, $2,500.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
I mean, great way to start a life together, right?
Yeah. And then you celebrated Halloween.
Well, it was a whole masquerade ball. So they had aerialists, they had fire dancers.
Wait, is there more people getting married? Is it not? Was it just you?
It was just us. Like no one else signed up.
Oh,
so,
I see. So sometimes more people do, but y'all got lucky.
Well, it was her first time ever doing this.
I don't know how you find this shit.
I don't know either.
You.
This is totally
this
me.
Is her.
This is nice to meet y'all.
Aerialist.
Yeah, there were aerialists. There were fire
God.
dancers. There were belly dancers. There was a full on show. There was a tarot card reader. The Andrea Perrin from the Perrin family, as in like The Conjuring, she was at our wedding.
Oh, look at that.
There's no way. I got to pick all the music and the song that I walked down the aisle to. I got to do everything. I got to pick the flowers. I got to, it was a real wedding and it was beautiful. And
are you sure you're really married?
Yeah.
We need to check your license. If somebody check our license to make sure she's actually. I don't think they actually married you.
No, they did.
I have a similar story.
It was a judge. So she was a sitting judge.
See, I made a mistake. We got married by Elvis, and we didn't get a license, so we had to go back and get another. Yeah, it was a mess.
So
we had to go through the
y'all
drive-thru.
heard it here first. That was actually a projection.
Yeah, it got really expensive because we also had to do. We're Catholic, so we had to do the Catholic wedding as well here in San Antonio. So we were in Vegas at the time, but
I always say I'm cradle Catholic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know.
Or cafeteria Catholic.
Catholic light. This is what they call it. We could go into the Catholicism quite a bit.
Oh, we can.
It's interesting.
That's a whole other hour.
Yeah, that is. The first time, because this story resonates. I don't know if you remember this. You may. Really, my introduction to you. It was obviously we can go into leadership programs here in a minute because you're big into that, and this is kind of my segue. It's a horrible segue. This is what I do here. I do horrible. Yeah, you did. That was not me snorting this time. The first time I met you, I got in the back of your car. This sounds bad.
That wasn't the first time we met.
It wasn't the first time we met, but it's the most memorable.
And I agree.
The first conversation we probably really had.
I agree.
Now, there was somebody sitting in the front seat. I wasn't just limo driving around the back.
It was Charles.
Yes, it was Charles. And I looked to my left, and there is a sword. Do you remember this? There was a sword in the back of your car.
I remember that there was a sword.
And yes, there was a freaking sword. And I texted.
It's a black one.
It was a real. I don't know what color it was. I was just in shock that there's a.
Okay, yeah.
So I text Charles. I'm like, "Are we okay here? Like,
that's
there's a
so
sword
funny.
in the back."
I do not even remember this.
Why do you have a sword? Why did you have a sword?
So,
are you into like Dungeons and Dragons?
So my husband is.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Then.
So my
Does
husband.
he swing the sword around at night? That doesn't sound
he
right.
likes. He likes to actually do. It's called. HEMA, and I'm terrible with acronyms, but it's basically like a form of like European martial arts, and it's really like just for like his own activity and mental health. I
shouldn't laugh, but it is pretty funny.
You really should just do it so that you can like stop judging.
Could you see me swinging a sword around?
I could, James.
Doing some Tai Chi.
Absolutely, I could. Yeah, it might actually help your mental health. You never know.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because
my mental health is perfect.
Oh my God.
She turned away. She just turned away from the mic to laugh.
Okay, so this kind of brings up the topic that my husband has said that I have developed an evil laugh.
Yes, it was. It was kind of evil.
Yeah. Very mischievous. Yeah.
After we're talking about swords, I need to calm down with you.
Well, because like I don't appreciate your tone of judging.
I'm not. Listen, I'm interested. I'm slightly judging. Yeah. There is a slight hint of judging.
Actually, what's really cool too that he started to do is
the laugh doesn't help.
He actually has started to make shields. Okay. Like actual like shields.
How does he make a shield? We should have been interviewing him.
you can still interview him. That's a whole other person. My husband is a whole other person. Yeah.
How does he make a freaking shield?
Very carefully. I don't know the process. All I know is
So wait a minute. Hold on.
He takes wood and then he like glues it together, cuts it, all that jazz. Like he like stretches like rawhide and puts it around the
Keep explaining. You have no clue, basically.
I have no clue. Absolutely not.
So wait, hold on. Do they? Okay. So this is. I don't know why I'm going down this rabbit hole. So you get the sword. Do you start fighting with each other with shields and swords and shit? Like, I mean,
he has in the past.
I don't know why. Yeah. You should see me waving.
Unfortunately, he hasn't really been able to because he's been going blind the last 3 years.
You told me this.
Yeah. He's lost about 85% of his vision,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And they don't know why, right? Remember you?
Yeah, we don't really know exactly why. Yeah, but they've said that like his vision is not going to come back, and that like. Which is kind of what we're doing. So it's all about navigating. So I'm really proud of him because he went back to college and he still is doing the syrup business.
Syrup?
And so, yes, it's a bourbon syrup for the man-child. Yeah, the man-child goods and sorts. And so under the man-child goods and sorts, he's been doing a lot more of like engraving and he wants to create a whole line of different clothes and different sayings and stuff, and I think the shields are just another part of that. Yeah. Of like, being creative and putting something out there into the world.
Well, that's cool. So speaking, well, yeah, we'll finish that story really quickly. Yeah, because I was texting Charles. I was like, I'm gonna die in the back of this car. That's hilarious.
It was a plastic sword.
No,
though.
it was real. I think it was a real sword.
Then
it looked real.
If it was a real one, then that was a gift for a friend.
Oh, okay. I just remember being terrified.
He does have a real one like on his wall, right? And then he's gifted real ones to his friends.
That can't be cheap, though. I mean, all jokes aside, that's probably not cheap.
Well, actually, he found pretty decent price ones
Really?
on Amazon. So if you're into that thing,
you can find a real sword on Amazon.
But then he like tempers it, and then he like fixes it.
Yeah.
I don't know these terms, but he fixes them so that they look nicer and they are a better gift for a friend.
Yeah. So going into leadership, and I noticed, I didn't see it because I'm so unaware of everything. I'm not trying to be mean, but you are communications on the committee for LSA. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. So I've been on the Leadership San Antonio Alumni Association board for the last it's 3 years, almost 4 years.
Time for you to roll off, I think.
Well, excuse you. Do you know how much good I've done? I am the new communications chair for the alumni board.
Yeah, and you posted the show, and you know what the funniest thing is?
Mm-hmm. You're
welcome. This is how humble I get humbled very easily because I don't. You know me. A lot of people think I like the public eye, but it's not my jam.
You don't.
But you posted in the thing, and I didn't see it, but I get a bunch of messages, and most all of them emails. And it was funny because I would say 2 of the 3 people were very kind. Both of them very kind. And I got to be careful because I may have one of them on my show. But it was funny because they were like, "Oh, we'll listen to your first show." I was like, this is my 10th episode. And then now I'm like, where do I go? Do I tell them like this is not there's been 9 others? like so now I'm like, where's my ego go get into place here? I'm like, no, I've done 10 of these fucking things. Then I'm having to explain to them, like, go look for it. But I appreciate you doing that. And I did get a response, not a great response to my ego, but so why do that though? Like, why be a part of that? I mean, I met you through those programs. I meet a lot of people through these programs. I have since taken a long sabbatical from those programs, but why is it so important to you and our community to be a part of those programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll only touch 2 points on that. But for me, being part of these type of programs is access. So if as a nonprofit consultant and as someone who's working in the community and as a community advocate, being in the room with all the people who are making the decisions, that for me, I joke. I lovingly joke and I say that I'm lazy. Yeah. Because why would I not want to be in the same room that everybody I need to talk to at the exact same time?
Sure.
Right. And so for me, that type of access is super important. But on top of that, right, being in the leadership roles is extremely important to me because it's a responsibility of bringing access to other people who don't have access. And so one of the reasons why I've been the main point person and the main driver and activator for the LSA alumni or the LSA's graduation. So for the last 3 years, I've done the graduation, and it's a scholarship breakfast so that we can raise money for scholarships for LSA, for the LSA class. But I also did it for LLI. My class raised $21,000.
What is LLI? That's a
Latino
joke.
Leadership Institute.
It's a joke that I like to.
It's actually good because we shouldn't be doing acronyms on a podcast of people who don't know us.
I know. It's my running
Leadership
joke.
San Antonio, Latino Leadership Institute.
LLI is going to come after me one day as many times as I joke about it, but she's shaking her head.
Once again, we'll get to that, James. But no, like, I know how expensive these things are, and as a small business owner, like
and getting more expensive.
Right? As a small business owner, like, I had to take a loan in order to get into LLI. For LSA, I was able to get $1,000 scholarship, but I still had to pay an amount in order to be part of Leadership San Antonio. And my goal and what I've done, and I'm really, really proud of the work that's been done and the people that have worked with me. But like we've given away like $50,000 worth of scholarships alone for LSA in the last 3 years, which did not happen before me.
Yeah, and I think the perception of LSA is that you're already arrived and that you don't need money, but 80% of our city's small businesses, and I think it's vitally important what you're doing there. I think giving those scholarships out is, I know, sometimes controversial, but I think it's so important to and nonprofits that are a part of the class too. Not all nonprofits can afford the prices to get into these things, and it's how you become successful in the city to a degree, especially as a small.
It's just what I do.
But yes, go ahead. So the scholarships is something you started or helped start.
It's something that I helped really drive. So I think I was a concept, an idea, and I've really just built a lot of the infrastructure, and I've really driven the messaging so that it can be that way. And that's why being the communications chair now is super important for me, because it's not just about, yes, I want to help with scholarships continuing and that, but I also see how many LSA individuals and Leadership San Antonio people and even leaders in our community like you who are not always highlighted in the way that we can be, right?
Sure.
And there's so many of us are just putting our heads down, doing the work, that we don't have the time or opportunity in order to uplift the work we're doing. But if we're able to uplift the work we're doing, then we can help more people.
Absolutely.
And so if I can shine a light on the work that's being done within the community, even especially for members who don't always get highlighted, the people who have taken the sabbaticals, bringing people back into the community, then we are able to be further connected so that greater good can be done. Yeah.
So what is something, and I know we both of us, I'll be honest, we were late today. And so we're up against the clock here, and I apologize. And I appreciate you actually being patient with me. But what is something that is a misperception of Tiffany? Like in the world that you think that is about you that you could change here today?
I think there are a lot of misperceptions of me, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So I think I take the strong leader role often, and I think people assume that I don't need help.
Yeah.
That, I'm always happy and I'm always there for everybody, but like that I don't need help as well.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah.
Like there's so many times that it feels like I've been drowning or it feels like I've asked for help and I don't feel as supported as I could be.
Sure.
But I also acknowledge that I don't always tell people all the hard work I'm doing.
Yes.
And so even if I've done even if I've had a lot of great success, even if there are a lot of things that I've been a part of, I don't always get credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't always see the work, because what happens is people relegate me to behind the scenes rather than where I've actually been, which is on the stage. So I've been on several stages.
Yeah.
I've been highlighted nationally.
Yeah.
But people don't know that because they only see me, right?
Yeah.
And it's a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways, because I appreciate that people value our friendship over access and over just using my talents, even though there are some that do. But I think it's a blessing and a curse, because at the same time I'm in a space right now where I really do need to uplift the work that's being done, because where I'm going and where I'm growing is changing, and I really need to uplift that work even more, so that I can get it out there.
So I kind of understand what you're saying, because a lot of times with me, and I think this will translate to you, people don't see when you are behind the scenes, whether you're up front behind the scenes or behind the scenes behind the scenes. A lot of times, one, it's not noticed, which neither one of us, I think, care about that to a degree. Right. You still need that acknowledgement occasionally, but I think that the bigger thing is sometimes people like us we kind of want to just show that we can do it, and then we forget to ask for help. And it's a two, like you said, it's a positive and a negative. You want to take it all on just to show that I can do it. This podcast came of that. Really, is just I want to show that I can do it, and people either listen to it or don't, or respond to it or don't. But I think that sometimes I have learned, and just you saying this, that asking for help is vitally important.
Yeah.
It's and then sometimes you're put into positions where you're not comfortable, and you have to say it, and that's also difficult too, because you just want to do it.
Right.
You know.
Well, I think people learn very quickly with me is even if I have this very nice voice, even if I'm very kind.
It's very sweet. Yes.
Very, very sweet. Unless I'm laughing at James.
Or a sword in the back. But
or
yes.
a sword in the back. But despite this very sweet voice, I still hold, or I still work to hold healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
And so I have zero problem calling things out.
Yeah.
And calling people out if needed.
Sure.
Even if it's hard. And
that's good.
so people feel a way about that whenever that happens, because people don't like being called out. But then what has also happened from that is sometimes I don't always get credit for the work that's been done.
Sure.
So I feel like, especially for you and I, like there's no proving in what we can accomplish, because we've already accomplished so much, and we know we know we can do it. I think what really needs to translate more so, and especially not just for me and you, but in general, in working with people who are small business owners and working with like advocates and people who are doing the work, is to hire people like us.
Yeah.
And if you really care about people like us, then continue putting us in spaces where we are hired and we are getting paid and able to continue doing the work that we're doing, because we are good at what we do, and because we care for what we do, and because we care about the community.
Yeah. So I'll end on this. What is to end this wonderful conversation, and I've had a great time. What is your purpose in life?
Yeah, which is actually a great segue for what's coming up. So my purpose in life is, and it's my legacy. I want every single person to know that they are loved in my presence.
Yeah.
Every single
even
person,
me.
Even you, which you know I do. You know I do.
Well, this is the first time I've seen you in a long time.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I still check in on you, and I still,
yeah.
I want every single person to know that they're loved in my presence. I've lost so many loved ones in my life, 6 to 10 over the last 16 years, and every single year, and losing a lot of people teaches you that life and time are finite.
Yep.
It reminds you what is important in the world. When you have loved ones who have health scares and everything, life is not given. And you can focus on all the surface level bullshit, right? But at the end of the day, none of that matters.
Yep.
Like if I look back in my life, right, am I going to look and count how many galas I went to? Am I going to look and count of how many people I supported, how many people I showed up for, right?
How many selfies you took?
Selfies matter too, because when you lose people, you still have those memories.
That's true.
And so for me, what I'm working on right now is it's a helper survival book, a helper's survival guide, and it's a guide for helpers. I am over 200 words in. I am almost ready to publish, and hopefully, I'm not sure if I'm going to publish before this podcast is published, or if it's going to be immediately after. But I really hope people who are like us really use it, and I want it to be a lifeline for people, because too many of us are being burnt out by the world and by society, and I need all of us to be okay. Yeah. I need all of us to know
especially
right now. I need every single person who's listening, anyone who's about to listen, that you are worthy, that you are loved, that you are deserving of good things, even if you don't feel like it, that there's enough time that you can still get what you want accomplished. There's still time to go after your goals. It doesn't matter how long it's taken. It doesn't matter if you feel behind. It doesn't matter if you feel like people aren't there to support you. People are there. People love you. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to me. being a friend, especially in today's world, is so necessary, and reminding people that we're not alone, like that is my mission and that is my goal.
Yeah. So just one last plug before we go. So how do we find some of this stuff? Just where do we go to find you, I guess?
Yeah. So you can go to my Instagram at Coach TMG.
Okay.
You can go to LinkedIn, Tiffany Galvan. My website is coachtmg.com.
And how do you spell Galvan? Just so people.
Galvan is G-A-L, V as in Victor, A-N as in Nancy.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I have a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm really working to be more on the speaker stage. So even if there are speaking opportunities or other podcasts that you would like me to be on and to share the message of mental health and helping others through that process, that's really where my heart is, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. You've been very gracious with your time today. I know you're super busy, and I really appreciate you doing this. It was fun, and I learned a lot about you that I didn't know, especially the sword. I mean, at least we cleared that up. You know?
I mean, well, now you have to get one.
I'm going to Amazon right now.
Or it just ends up showing up at your mailbox.
Please don't.
As a threat.
Yeah.
As a threat.
That would be with the laugh and just the box, just
it's
you
gonna
laughing.
It's going to be a little voice box, little voice message. Or one of those cards where there's like
shut off. Yeah.
There's a card with a puppy on it, and then you open it and it's just my mischievous laugh. Yeah.
Thanks again, Tiffany, for doing this.
Thanks,
I
James.
appreciate it.